All right, this is the copyright disclaimer. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. And this video is not for any monetary gain. It is explicitly for the reasons stipulated in the Copyright Act of 1976 under Section 107. Giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha Akakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and our fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth, that be like it to the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners, and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, I say Shalom. This is your brother Ayashar Barazal, a prophet of doom from the Indianapolis branch of the Great Millstone, coming back at you with another lesson that is edifying to the elect body of the nation of Israel. All right, I got this article here from Fox News. Looks like it was a day ago. It says Marco Rubio voices concern that Americans may someday be arrested for social media posts when visiting Europe. All right, so before I get into the article, I'm going to play what uh, this guy says here. All right, fair use, fair use, fair use, according to the Copyright Act of 1976 under Section 107. All right, here we go.
We're concerned about any place, first and foremost, where American free speech could be implicated, right? Are we going to live in a world where some American puts up a social media post and then gets to some airport somewhere and is arrested? We're also concerned about the impact that some of their policies are having on our social media platforms. As you recently saw, X is facing this massive multi-million-dollar fine that they're going to have to pay, I guess, if they want to continue to operate. But I think more importantly, I think it touches on the broader question that was asked a little bit earlier. We all talk about how these alliances, in many cases, our alliances with our European partners, are built on our common principles, our common values, as much as anything else. These aren't just a geopolitical arrangement. It is an alliance with like-minded countries with whom we share values and principles. And one of those values and principles, we hope, is freedom and the freedom of expression. And we're concerned that that is eroding. Okay, thank you, guys.
Well, there you have it, Marcio. Man, I swear, you guys really, well, you can't see the elect. Okay, you already said in this clip that you are like-minded. All right. Um, were you guys not just canceling people in September for saying something about Charlie Kirk? Okay, that's the same thing here. Okay, the same thing here. All right, and just a couple days ago, I did a video about this Israeli Shlomo Kramer, I believe that's his name, um, who says he believes or is going to make sure that the America's First Amendment is eliminated. All right, so no, dude, you're playing, good cop, bad cop, when there's evidence of you already doing the same thing that they're doing in the UK. All right. Now, as explained, and I'll put a link to that video that I did a couple days ago in a description box of this video. But it's going to be very hard to, change that amendment as you have to do it. They will have all of Congress. That's without question. In that same video, no members in Congress will answer the question: America first, or do you stand with Israel? You know, no person will answer that. Okay. And like I said, I'll put the link to that video in a description box. But the thing is, America's going to do the same thing. Again, this is playing good cop, bad cop. And, you cannot deceive the elect. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 2, Verse 11, it says, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And Satan goes into adversary. Okay, all right, and Esau, Edom, the so-called white man who is the wicked, according to Malachi 1 and 4, is definitely the adversary of the Israelites. That's all throughout the scriptures. All right, let me read it in the NLT. It says, so that Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with his evil schemes. And yeah, it's like you think we just forgot about September and what happened with that. People were losing their jobs, people getting canceled, kicked out of a college, all because they had an opinion of Charlie Kirk and what happened to him after he was, unalive on live TV. All right. Yeah. So cut it out, man. We know what you're doing. We see you. All right. You cannot hide anymore, Esau. We see you. You know. Let's get to the article. Okay. It says since the inauguration, one of the key foreign policy priorities of President Donald Trump's administration has been freedom of speech in Europe. While America and its people have close relationship with Europe, they're the same people, particularly the United Kingdom. The crackdown by ostensibly liberal Western democracies on free speech has been a key source of conflict. It says Rubio was asked on a December 19th press briefing. The State Department mentioned earlier this year that free speech concerns, particularly in Europe. What are some goals that you have to that in 2026? And notice this is December 19th that that Rubio answered this. The video I did had just happened on January 2nd, so it's coming. Okay, it's coming. He was trying to head it off in that, but hey, there's going to be penalties for what's being said online, and we know how that's going to play into the social credit score and how you're able to move about in society because of what you believe in or what you say. All right, even if it's the truth. All right, goes on. It says, and he said he responds, well, I mean broadly, we're concerned about any place first and foremost where American free speech could be implicated. All right, he said. Are we going to live in a world where some American puts up a social media post and then gets to some airport somewhere and is arrested? They didn't have to do that with the whole Charlie Kirk situation. You know, people found them out, reported them, and they were immediately fired from their jobs, canceled. Okay, so that's a little bit worse than getting arrested. All right, depending on the penalty. All right, now your livelihood is messed up. It says, Rubio asks, we are also concerned about the impact that some of their policies are having on our social media platforms. As you recently saw, X is facing this massive multi-million dollar fine that they're going to have to pay, I guess, if they want to continue to operate. All these ads, okay? It says, Rubio went on to say, but I think more importantly, I think it touches on the broader question that was asked a little bit earlier. We all talk about how these alliances, in many cases, our alliances with our European partners, are built on our common principles, our common values, as much as anything else. In other words, you know, a new world order. you know, one, under a single rule. Everyone must comply with them. That's what he's talking about here. All right. He says these are just a geopolitical arrangement. It is an alliance with like-minded countries with whom we share values and principles. Okay, EU, European Union. Um, the dragon and the 10 horns. All right, that's what this is all about. All right. It says, and one of those values and principles we hope is freedom of expression. No, that's not going to happen. America's been censoring people. Like I just found out yesterday, one of the brothers in GMS, that yeah, and the name Yahawashai was uh, considered anti-Sem. Okay, and I know this for a fact because on one of my accounts I mentioned that name, and they gave me a strike. You know, for literally give you a nutshell of what was said. One guy was arguing about the color of the Lord, and referenced in the scriptures that the angel told Joseph to take Mary and flee into Egypt, and said that to take Mary and Yahushua into Egypt because they would blend in very well, and then showed a little diagram of Revelation 1 and 14, and they gave me a strike, but I mentioned his name, take Mary and Yahushua into Egypt, and they gave me a freaking strike. So yeah, it's already here. All right. It's already here. So you can cut the crap, Rubio. You're not fooling anybody. All right. It goes on. It says, and we are concerned that this, we are concerned that that is eroding. All right. One recent example of European officials threatening to punish Americans was in August 2024, when a prominent London police commissioner made headlines for threatening to extradite U.S. citizens to be tried in the UK for breaking their hate speech laws online. Hey man, that shit. We know they're gonna do it, but in reality, that shit is about as dumb as being bullied online. Turn the fucking computer off if you don't like what's being said. Fucking clowns. All right. Says citizens there routinely encounter police on their doorstep for politically incorrect comments they made on social media. And who's to say that those comments were politically incorrect? This is really about truth they don't want you telling about. Okay. It says uh, Vice President J.D. Vance directly criticized European leaders directly at the Munich Security Conference in February, saying the continent's recent censorship activities were a bigger threat to existence than Russia. Yeah, right. All right. Says within living memory of many of you in this room, the Cold War positioned defenders of democracy against much more tyrannical forces on this continent. Talk about tyranny. What just happened in Venezuela? All right, and it wasn't about drugs. That's for sure. All right, but that's another lesson. All right, it says, and consider the side in that fight that censored dissidents, that closed churches, that canceled elections. Vance said. Goes on, says, unfortunately, when I look at Europe today, it's sometimes not so clear what happened to some of the Cold War winners. He continued. I look to Brussels, where EU commissars warn citizens that they intend to shut down social media during times of civil unrest the moment they spot what they've judged to be hateful content, or to this very country where police have carried out raids against citizens suspected of posting anti-feminist comments online as part of combating misogyny on the internet. And here's the thing, with that. What do you what no hateful what you deem as hateful comment, especially from the Israelites, is truth. You don't like truth. All right. It says the Trump administration also imposed visa bans on former European Union Commissioner Thierry Breton, who was behind the Digital Services Act, and four fellow anti-discrimination campaigners, accusing them of censoring American platforms. Okay. Says the State Department is taking decisive action against five individuals who have led organized efforts to coerce American platforms to censor, demonetize, and suppress American viewpoints they oppose. Secretary of State Rubio said in a statement. All right. And that's going to be it for that. All right, let me grab scripture here because this is definitely coming to America. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Um, that unrighteous decree. This is but they're setting the groundwork for it now. Like I said, that guy was just saying a couple weeks after what Rubio said that America should eliminate its First Amendment. Shlomo Kramer. Okay, like I said, I'll put a link to the video in the description box. And hell, you know, he's part of that group that you know has compromised the Congress of the United States. All right, so they're going to get it. That's going to happen because we know part of prophecy is famine of the word, but I'll get to that here. This is Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1, and it reads, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and write grievousness which they have prescribed." All right, so that's what they're going to be doing, putting into legislation to censor uh, the American people, which, we don't care about everyone as a whole, but it's the truth, the truth of the scriptures that they're going to do that. But we know that that is going to happen. Okay. I'm going to grab this in the NLT, Isaiah 10 and 1. Okay. Very simple. It says, "What sorrow awaits the unjust judges and those who issue fair laws?" Yeah, we know you're going to come down with great wrath on the people. One of them being censorship, the other one being the MOTB, other one being martial law. Okay. A lot of that stuff, you're going to have to pay for one way or the other. All right. You will have to pay for it. And you're not going to get away with it. Point blank, period. All right. So yeah, you're writing these laws. You're trying to shut the people up. But like I said, as far as uh, the truth of the scriptures is concerned, we know that that's going to happen. All right. This is the book of Amos 8 and 11. It says, I'll get it in the KJV first. It says, "Behold, the days come, saith Yahweh our power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor thirst for water, but of hearing the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai." It says, verse 12, "And they shall wander from sea to sea, and from the north even to the east. So they shall run to and fro to seek the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and shall not find it." All right. So yeah, we're going to be taken off the streets as much as well as the internet. All right. Pages will fall off. Everything's going to be censored, just like they want here. All right. It says, "In that day shall the fair virgins and young men faint for thirst." All right. We go across and get it here from the NLT. Verse 11 says, "The time is surely coming, says the sovereign Lord, when I will send a famine on the land, not a famine of bread or water, but of hearing the words of the Lord." All right. And this is where y'all going to lose it. You know, you walk past the camps, you scoff on the comment boards, and that name is going to disappear from you because you're ignoring it now. Okay. What's that name? Where those guys at? We're gone, man. You know, that censorship. We know censorship is part of prophecy for the prophets of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. That's how we're going to know we're close. And if you don't have it, oh well. All right. It says, verse 12 in the NLT, it says, "People will stagger from sea to sea and wander from border to border, searching for the word of the Lord, but they will not find it." All right. That's because of these censorship laws. No more freedom of speech. All right. Verse 13, it says, "Beautiful girls and strong young men will grow faint in that day, thirsting for the Lord's word." Yeah. Yeah. So even when you're at your best, in terms of beauty and strength. That's not going to help you in that day. All right. All right. And this is Isaiah 55 and 6. And it says, seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Call ye upon him while he is near. In the NLT, seek the Lord while you can find him. Call on him while he is near. All right. And who was that? That's the prophets. You know, the scriptures say he has spoken by the mouth of the prophets since the beginning. That's us out on the highways and byways. You're not going to see the Lord yourself face to face. All right. Remember when they try to go up to the mountain? That power was so great you can't stand before the Lord and live. All right. So he sends the prophets. All right. This is the book of Luke. So you best to listen right now. Uh, I think it's chapter 10 and 16. Chapter 10, back up. Salakia, Luke 10. Is it 16? Khan, that's what it is. All right. It says, he that heareth you heareth me, and he that despiseth you despises me, and he that despises me despises him that sent me. All right. So when the word of the Lord is being given out by the men of, the prophets on the highways and byways teaching the correct doctrine, okay, he's telling you he sent us. All right. He's telling you that he sent us, the prophets. Okay. I'm going to prove that. It says, I'll read this in the NLT first. Luke chapter 10, verse 16. Then he said to the disciples, anyone who accepts your message is also accepting me. Anyone who rejects you is rejecting me, and anyone who rejects me is rejecting Yahweh who sent me. Okay, that's pretty clear. He sent the prophets. All right, this is Baruch, and I'll close out with this one, chapter 1, verse 21. All right, just straight to the point. It says, nevertheless, we have not hearkened unto the voice of Yahweh our power, according unto all the words of the prophets whom he sent unto us. So yeah, so while uh, laughing at us, mocking us, scoffing us, as we bring this word forth, you're really scoffing and mocking and laughing at the Most High. And like the scripture say in Proverbs 1, he's going to laugh at you in that day. All right. So, hey, yeah, this is where we at. That censorship is coming. That invasion in Venezuela, it's not going to end there. And a lot of stuff is going to be coming out, over the next week or two. There's just so much going on. And we're trying to pull it all together. All right. So, with that, I hope this lesson was edifying to the elect body of the nation of Israel. Once again, going to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rahahakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and teaching us this 100% truth. Salutations to them and my fellow Akim who labor in this truth week in and week out on the highways and byways. Also, salutations to the hopeful elect of the scattered 12 tribes of Israel, scattered to the four corners of the earth that be like unto the speckled bird, also known as your Israelite foreigners and your so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. To you, I say Shalom, Kwam Yasharala, Abba Ball. You ain't got much time left, Esau. You ain't got much time left. And we're looking forward to it. We got next. Shalom.